Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It's Sunday. It's 8 o'clock. It can only mean one thing. Welcome to the Red and Blue review on Red and Blue News. Following today's sad point only against the Wolverhampton Wanderers at Selhurst Park. Coming up on tonight's show, we will review that disappointing draw, against Nuno's Wolves, who coming in today's game were 5 games without a win. You know the old adage. If you're desperate for a result of some description, just pop your bums down to Selhurst Park. We'll sort it out for you. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened today. But before we go any further, we've got quite a few bits I want to go through tonight. I'll be asking you questions out there, ladies and gentlemen, about Hull.net and the BBS and the relevance of said pages during the show. We'll be taking questions from the audience later on. I want to talk about the atmosphere today at Selhurst Park. I want to start with 2 things very quickly. First of all, a big thank you to Kevin Lyons, who gave Jel and I a great opportunity today to sit in the director's area. We had a lovely day. Kev, if you're watching this evening, mate, thank you very much on both of you. Evening, Jordan. And yeah, he's still got his... hi, Mickey. He's still got his wristband on from today. But we must start the show with some exciting news. Hi, Phil. I would like, on behalf of everybody at Red and Blue News, Jill, look at the screen, please, to wish you and your family heartfelt congratulations on becoming a granddad. And there she is, ladies and gentlemen. Isn't she beautiful? Now, I'll say the word she, because it turns out, Jill, am I not right, that at the moment we don't have a name?
No name. Not yet. I asked Carly on the way home today, has my granddaughter got a name? And she said... No, but we got sort of 6 weeks before we have to register her. So
surely we're missing a trick here, though. Surely it should be a poll on the site.
It'll end up being called Dave on it, or Gary,
or baby.
Honestly, in all seriousness, just to kick off the show, Jill, please pass on our love to your whole family. We are chuffed. Look at that little eaglet. She weighed in at 7 pounds 7 ounces, ladies and gentlemen. Fit and healthy. Mum's doing well, and we are chuffed on your behalf. I understand she's also already a member of Red and Blue News, which is the right thing to do. Welcome to my team this evening. Jill Holyoke, Ian Lyons. Thank you, boys, as ever. How are you doing? Are you all right, Ian?
Yeah, well, I think I've calmed down. So, yeah, I'm getting there slowly but surely. I'm sure this will be as cathartic for us as it will be for everyone else on the show.
Well, I hope so. That is the plan. Now, we also had contact last week. I think it was from Paul Rundle, who made an extremely valid point that perhaps, we may have younger viewers watching this, okay? And he made a point last week, and it was an absolutely valid point, because we do listen to you with reference to the fact that I sat here last Sunday, or whenever it was we last did the last show, and I was drinking alcohol live on the show. Do you know what? Perhaps I shouldn't have done it. And, mate, I take your view on board. So this evening, we'll kick off that I'm on lemon squash. What you got, Ian?
I've got coffee.
You got coffee. And Jill?
A cup of brandy. Milk.
Paul, your point, mate, is absolutely sound, and I absolutely thank you for your contact, because it was relevant, and yeah, you're a regular contributor on the page and on the show, so thank you for that. And in fact, we're going to kick off the show. Before we get into the game, we're going to kick off the show with a question. Ian, I'm going to ask you this question from Paul Rundle. Do the group think that the big players are underperforming currently this season? Now, over to you, because I've got my own view.
Yes. Next.
Okay.
It's clear. It's clear, isn't it? I mean, it all depends on what we're talking about. Big players. Wilf's doing his bit. He actually he did quite well today. But in general, yes. Cahill is the only big player, I would say, that's actually pulling his weight and has done consistently so far this season.
Okay. Joe, I mean, you obviously have a different view on that, because Wilf did step up today, didn't he not?
Yeah, I thought he did. I thought Wilf had his best game today. It's interesting. I answered someone on Twitter, and they were saying about players, putting ticks and crosses or just the average against these people's names, and put a cross against MacArthur. And I was like, hang on a minute. I thought Macca, my personal point of view, I thought Macca was our man of the match by a mile. We were talking, myself and Kev, we talked all through the game, and Macca was absolutely everywhere. And do you know what? When that Adame needed kicking, because Patrick, PVA couldn't kick him, Schlick couldn't get near him, Macca had to come over and kick him. And I was like, that's what we need. We've got a player coming from the other side of the pitch over to the right-hand side and kicking the only fella really that gave us any trouble in that first half. They are a little bit one-trick pony, Wolves, but they've done a bit of homework and they stuck him and Doherty on the right-hand side. But, yeah, I mean, I couldn't believe that. But talking about players stepping up, I thought, Guaita is a good goalkeeper anyway. A very, very good save he made to stop us going down 1-0. But yeah, I mean, the certain players stepped up. But like I say, after all the criticism and everything about Wilf and just the hurrah that surrounds his every minute, I thought he had his best game of the season today. So, but yeah, certain players stepped up, and then obviously certain players were still crap.
Okay, which we'll come on to during the show.
Okay.
So we kicked off with the lineup of Guaita in goal, Joel Ward, Patrick Van Arnholt, Milivojevic, Kouate, Jordan Ayew, Wilfred Zaha, Mamadou Sakho, who I thought was much better today, Jeffrey Schlupp, James MacArthur, and Gary Cahill. Ian, would you have changed any of those players we had on the bench? Hennessy, Dan, Mayer, Townsend, Benteke, McCarthy, and Kelly. Would you have started any differently?
I like Mayer. I'd like to try and squeeze in, but what we haven't got is the one glaring omission, Camarasa. Does anyone know why he wasn't even in the squad?
Okay, it's a very good question because there was a question from. I'm sorry to be repeating, Jill. You can do that next. Hang on a second. There is again, and I'm sorry to go back to Paul Rundle again because he's asked a question in the chat tonight. He said, "Where is Camarasa?" Good question. Anybody got any idea, Jill?
No, I don't have any idea, but I have. We talked about this earlier on, myself and Kev, and I think that it's to do with the amount of games that he plays for us. I think he can only play 15 games before we have an obligation to buy him. I think. I think there'll be something in the contract, but I'll be amazed if he plays more than 10 games for us. Absolutely amazed.
If that is the case, that is disgraceful. I mean, what are we running here? What is the point of getting these players?
Didn't happen to who did we have last time on loan? We've been and done this before on a different player.
Yeah, but 15 games.
So Kev has turned around and said the 15-game loan clause. I'm pretty sure that if he plays more than 15 times, we have an obligation to buy him. I'm pretty sure there's something like that. Someone will tell us in the chat. Definitely someone will tell us.
Well,
I don't know. I mean, go on, mate.
Going back to your question, Nick, anyway. So Camarasa is the one that I would have loved to have seen taking Luca's place. And Luca did nothing other than the last 15 minutes to justify that thought. But I think it's possibly the strongest lineup that he could have put out there, just as it was against Tottenham at the first. I mean, Wolves were ordinary today, and they were there for the taking. And I was quite surprised at that. They're going through a fragile patch at the minute, and every time it was a game of two halves, wasn't it? But every time Luca gets the ball, he just slows the game down. And it's the new Ray Wilkins. He's just got sideways all the time, sideways or backwards, sideways or backwards. And that when they caught us on the break a few times in the first half, it's because they moved the ball really quickly. When Spurs killed us last week, it's because they moved the ball quickly, pace in the game, pace on the pass. And for some reason, we just do not have that tenacity or pace at the minute.
Okay, well, I would like to start. Joe, you can do a couple of minute review on what was a poor first half in a minute, okay? But your views on the whole, if you wouldn't mind, of today on Luka Milivojevic, because Ian's already come up with his wish that he thought Camarasa would actually be played in front of him. The manager's not going to drop him, is he? Is he going to drop our captain?
Well, I don't go for the captain thing. I don't subscribe to that anymore. I'm not interested in whether he's captain or not. I just want form players. And at the moment, I mean, he was quite frankly dreadful in the first half. I have no clue what's going through his mind. He's gone from a player that was confident and full of tackles, and his passing was crisp and everything last season, to being an absolute shadow of his former self. I mean, I know he's on 4 yellow cards, but I mean, he's what it is. I ain't going to go for the rest of the season and not get another yellow to miss out on a game. So I know Paul Glance has just said about the 4 yellows, but I'm not really. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I thought he got his international place back. I thought, wow, that'd be it. It'd be settled, but maybe again, maybe something is going on behind the scenes. Again, we get Roy alluding to it might be a season of heartbreak or a season of turmoil or whatever. I don't really know. To be honest with you, after these people getting huge amounts of cash off us every week, it bores me that they moan. I love what I do, but I can assure you, I don't think I get paid enough for doing what I do. But these guys get huge amounts of money to just have average games and look like you can try, you can really try, you can throw yourself into tackles, and you can just go mad, and I see too many players on our side not doing that now. I really do. So something tells me that there's something going on in the backgrounds, but whatever. It's frustrating. But
Facebook, Jill?
Yes. So I'm just going to go back, and all I'm going to do is just name check people. If I'm not going to read out big long names, but if everyone's got multiple names in their names. So Linda Drew, Kev Lyons, Paul Glance, Nigel Croucher, Max Francis, Lee Lockwood, Andrew Adams, Paul Rundle, John Lyons, Ben Allen, Jordan O'Day, James Convey, Andrew Adams. Did I just say that twice now? Teresa Baker's online as well. Kev, Bruno, Broniecki, Jeff Warren. So there's a few people in there. And thanks for joining us, Lee Clark. In a day of frustration, I think we thank you for joining us. Make you feel
absolutely. Simon Cribben as well. People from all over.
To the very beginning. Lucas Atheron, Jeff Warren, Scott Clark. So Andy Stacey. Catching up now. If I haven't read your name out, just Leslie Fuller. Just say hello, and I'll say hello to you. Thank you.
Cheers indeed. So Palace snatched a draw from the jaws of victory today after the second injury time equaliser was scored with 15 seconds left on the clock. Diogo Jota's dramatic stoppage time equaliser rescued a point for Wolves at Selhurst Park. Then Donker's own goal had seemed certain to give Palace victory before Jota's late strike for the visitors, who had Roman Sayers sent off for 2 bookings. Luka Milivojevic and Kouate both had shots from distance deflected behind, while substitutes Christian Benteke and Jeffrey Schlupp forced Patricio into 1-versus-1 saves. But they were simply unable to kill the game off. In committing men forward, they showed a lack of game management and left themselves open to Wolves on the counter-attack. Wasted easy chances from both Schlupp and Benteke could and probably should have killed the game off. Ian, first half, your thoughts?
Dull as dishwater. We, again, going back to what I was saying earlier, there was no rhythm, no tempo, certainly from us. They came to do a Palace on Palace. They were just sitting back, letting us have the ball. Obviously playing 5 in the middle. They were trying to switch it wide, targeting the wings, targeting PVA, targeting Ward. Ward did well today, actually, to be fair, other than right at the death. So we were in throughout the game. We were in relative control, but we didn't stamp our authority on the game. We didn't take it by the scruff of the neck. Now, Palace teams of old would have just been up and at them and just gone for it. We've lost that. We've lost that in a big time.
Yeah.
Covering what Jel was saying, following on from Luca, I said last week that I regard the armband as just being an armband. You don't need to have the armband to be a leader on the pitch, and Luca is not that. Clearly not that. He was completely anonymous. I agree with you that Jimmy Mack was superb. Did a lot of legwork off the ball, a lot of closing down, a lot of harrying, a lot of break up. Kouyaté, obviously, I like him. I think he's a really good player. But for me, the standout player of the game, and a lot of it when I noticed, was Cahill. He was screaming and shouting and organising that defence for the full
Our leader,
90.
our new leader. I agree.
But that proves the point. And everyone was listening to him. And I think maybe that's actually cast a shadow over Luca, is that Cahill is the one that Sacco and the rest are looking up to. And he's organising them off. When the ball's out of play, that's the most dangerous time as a defensive unit. That is when you do your organising. You don't wait until someone picks the ball up. And Cahill's on it time and time and time again, clapping, getting them in position, pulling them in position, telling them where to be. I mean, he's telling professional players.
Could that be the reason Luca is off form because he's concerned about potentially a better leader behind him?
Well, he's being usurped, isn't he? Now he's not being judged on his. He's not keeping his place. Well, he is keeping his place because of this little thing on his arm. At the minute, and there's going to be more as time goes by, and as Cahill generates more of a captaincy aura around him, a leader aura around him. That's going to put the focus fairly and squarely on Luca's ability and his form, and his form's sadly lacking. 15. I wish it was 15 games on a number of other players' contracts at the minute, because we'd probably see a better lineup from time to time. But yeah, so the first half was pretty dry as far as chances were concerned. What I would say is, we touched on it earlier, I thought Gaeta made an absolute worldie of a save. That reactions to get that arm up and then to get it over, because it looked for all the world a stone.
Okay,
stone goal.
Ian, let me jump in because I'm going to throw him under the bus. Okay, he called it a TV save. One for the cameras.
My brother.
Is what I called it. No, your mate sitting next to you.
Yeah, it was a good save. In fact, it was a very, very good save. But
Jackson what did my brother, the goalkeeper, say?
Johnny Jackson would have held it. No, I'm joking. It was a good save. But it made all the, we were looking straight down there. But then, the worst thing is, it's 5 seconds before we called it, just went free header on the far post, free header on the far post, free header on the far post. Yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah. Oh, what a save. That's what we were sitting there. We were just going, oh, look at, we got photos and video all of the first half of Doherty and Adame just hugging the right-hand side. It just, they'd done their homework. They tried to do it on Wald. Wald weren't having any of it. Thought he had a fantastic game today, Wald. Yeah, did well. I'll tell you what we had. We only had two or three players off it, not off it, but not properly at it. But I thought Wald was great.
Yeah, two things on that, if you don't mind. Just to let you know, folks watching at home, thank you, as Joe said, to each and every one of you. We are currently running a poll in the group as to your man of the match, and I understand Czech Kouyaté is actually winning. Now, Ben and I were having an exchange live during the game, and maybe we were seeing it somewhat differently in the stands as the people watching it elsewhere. But whilst I thought Kouyaté had a good game, we were saying at the time we thought Jimmy Mack was probably the man of the match. Certainly, possibly Joel Ward was the man of the first half. Okay, but it's so put your thoughts on the poll. Let us know what you think. Yeah, it's all about opinions at the end of the day. That's why we do this. Ian, from where you were sitting, who was your man of the match overall?
Cahill, Stonewaller, Cahill.
Because that's interesting. A third choice, you say.
The amount of times he got in blocks, cleared the ball, and he was covering for others. Well, at the time. but also again, his communication. I'm a big one for communication. When playing and everything else. And he's definitely my type of player, without a shadow of doubt. But there were just as many people as had an off game last week, had sensible games and good games this week. Kouate, as I say, I like him. I thought he was a good player. Schlupp was okay to a certain extent, but
there's lots of different opinions in the chat. Linda saying Macca was man of the match. Paul Rundle saying man of the match. Paul Glancy saying Guaita. And Glancy, I have seen your comments about Nick Philpott and prawn sandwich, but I chose to ignore them. Okay.
No prawns. No prawns. I'm telling you, Speroni's, no prawns.
But there was smoked salmon. Okay, it wasn't a gel. It was. Right now, we have a problem now. Okay, I think I want to talk. We will be going on to talk about the atmosphere today and getting into the bones of that. We have an issue with our goal. Okay, now there's a reason. Ian, I would like you to talk us through it, please, because quite frankly, guess what?
What?
Live, I didn't see it. We came up the steps after the break. I turned left, Jel turned right. He was walking up the steps to go into the stand. I was going left to go for a wee. I didn't see the goal. So could you,
what were you doing? Late back?
Eating smoked salmon and pies.
Eating smoked salmon.
Corporate hospitality. It's outrageous. Right.
You're lucky I drag him away from it, free wine and everything that was on the table, mate.
I'm sure there were other takers there. Actually, do you know what? The goal was and having just said how laboured and poor tempo-wise we were in the first half, the second half, obviously, something was said about the pace on the ball, the pace of our passing and our movement and everything else. And they were up for it. And then the ball went out for a throw. I think Kouate got it quickly. Schlupp did really well. Drove into the box. I think it came back out. And it came back out to Ward and everyone's going, oh, here we go. And then, bang, deflection in the net. I don't know if it was an own goal, though, because it looked as though the shot was on target. So I know
he nailed it. He absolutely nailed it as well.
I know that I've seen people suggest it's an own goal, but nevertheless, if it's on target,
well, Sky have given it as an own goal, haven't they? So
I've got my notes here from the BBC, and they've called it a Dendoncker own goal.
Well, it is what it is.
Okay. Well, a goal's a goal. So own goal's top scorer, isn't he, for us at the minute?
Yeah.
Along with the other three.
Yeah. We can't stay up on our own goals, can we, boys? As we know. Keep going.
Yeah. No. So obviously that was a good move, and it's nice to see a bit of urgency as well. But also scoring that goal then changes Wolves' approach to the game. They can't. And it was interesting to see another team go through what we go through. Obviously, we sit back, and we've discussed this on the pod last season about how hard it is when you're trained to sit deep and play in what I would consider a negative manner. It's then hard to change and go on the front foot, I think it took the sting out of them quite a lot actually. And then by drawing them out to us, it should have enabled us to start picking the passes off, but obviously we're rubbish at that in a minute. So any balls that we had the chance of passing forward, we just chose to pass sideways and backwards.
Jill?
Yeah, there's a few people in the chat alluding to the flatness in the stadium today.
We're coming to that.
It was the atmosphere was flat. So when we did score, it got the ground going and it got the players going as well. And I think, while there was a pretty dreadful, but just a tame first half, I thought we gained a bit of impudence, and also what it did was it allowed us to, when they came at us, it allowed us to try and pick them off really. So what's the frustrating thing is that if we had a genuine £130,000 a week striker, a younger, hungry striker, I think they'd have been toast today, Wolves. I'm telling you now, they would have been toast. That second half is as probably near enough as good as anything that we played last season when we hammered Leicester and Newcastle. You know, I'm serious. The amount of good, honest chances, and their goalkeeper. This make no bones about it. Their goalkeeper ain't making saves. He ain't making worldy saves. The ball is being at him. He's being smashed at him. So I'll elaborate on that unless you're going to unless we're going to do it a little bit later. But you know, Ben says, "What do we miss more, RLC or Batshuayi? Batshuayi by a mile." I cannot be thinking he'd be wanting more than Benteke. I don't understand how he is. Can I just quickly do the subs?
Yeah, of course you can.
To take Makarov, who was unbelievable today, right? And leave Schlupp on the field. Maya must be wanting it. Maya must be just on the part of just, do you know what? Let's get Christmas out of the way. I'd be on the phone. If I was Maya, I'd be on the phone to my agent going, get me out of this dump. Get me away from this antiquated manager. This team is fractious, obviously fractious. Get me out of here. This is a nightmare. If I was if I was Jordan, I'd be ill. Imagine being possibly one of our players of the season so far and being replaced by the absolute farcical Benteke. I've done with Benteke now. Seriously, he could score next week. I don't care. Right? That geezer he's been given the love. He's been given the chances. He's been given the time. He's been given everything, right? And the money, huge amounts of life-changing money, right? And we have got no value for money out of that fella. I don't care what anyone says. I'll challenge anyone. Just get his record up, stick his goals up, take away the one goal. Take away the one goal that he was given, because Luca would have scored that penalty. But the public opinion was just pick him off the floor. Let's give him, we're all part of the team. Have a soft one, son. And he slipped on his arse and only just scored that anyway. Yeah. I'm just like, I'm done with him. And Ayew must be ill. He must be absolutely ill.
Did you see the look on his face? Oh, you did. I know you saw it.
He come across. He was right in front of us, obviously. He walks around it. The crowd for him were immense today. And I think that he didn't do anything wrong. He wasn't injured. He just looks like he's just...
He was running a tightrope, though. He jumped in on the challenge after having been... Because this is his third booking this year for kicking the ball away.
We need players to be putting challenges in. He's that kind of player. He is. He loves the hand. He runs himself into a corner, but you've got three players around him. But he will try and kick him, and he will try and get the ball back. That's what we want. We want players that are just going to play.
Ben, Jel, ultimately, that decision by the manager to take him off, ultimately cost us the 3 points, and I'll explain to you why I'm thinking that.
You can say that, but before they scored, we had 3 gilt-edged chances.
And Benteke had one of them. Ayew would have probably put that in the back of the net.
For me, see, the thing with Jeff Schlupp, like what he does is 3 times a year he has great games. Do you know what Schlupp is? Schlupp is our new Puncheon. Seriously, he is absolutely fraudulent, Jeff Schlupp. For what he did today, he shouldn't have been. Maya should have been fighting our management in that. I'll tell you now, I just got to go. Do you know what? You keep him on. I'm off. I'd have walked off. I'd have just walked off. Go find me. I don't really care. You can only find me 2 weeks' wages in every 2 months. I just take the fine. Just go back to Germany. I'm absolutely sick that Maya cannot get in front of Schlupp. He is crap, absolute crap. To leave him on the pitch is just farcical, absolutely farcical. To bring Benteke on, who just I don't know what he is. And I said to Kev today, for me, he's shot, he's done, I think he's cooked. I think he's absolutely cooked. And sometimes players, they finish their physical, their ability and everything. You go, he's 33. But what Kevin Phillips played to do is 39. But he was a goal scorer. The geezer was a natural born goal scorer, right? Benteke, is not a natural born goal scorer. He just isn't. And I get, you know, people that the lovers, not the lovers, but the people that like him and the people that dislike him. I give him the benefit of the doubt. Now I'm done. I'm absolutely done with him. If we play him again, I would. If I was Jordan, I'd just be like, "Hey, you know what? I can't be doing with this. Don't care about the contract. If you don't trust me, get rid of me." You know, I think that's going to be a lot of our players. A lot of our players are going to be thinking, "Do you know what? How comes he's on?" It changes the dynamic. We went from being a decent threat to literally being we're toothless.
Okay, right. Well, I think we've done that one to death. Jel, while I'm asking the next question to the audience, would you kindly have a look at the points in the chat for us, because I want to make sure we cast our eye over that. Ladies and gentlemen out in Facebook land, I've got a question for you. There is a reason why I'm about to ask you and we're coming on to it towards the end of the show, but I'm asking you now because I'd like your comments in the chat and to what you think. So the question stands, and I'm asking it, it's coming from me, the guys don't know anything about this. Do you still use homesdale.net, the website, and the BBS? If you do, can you tell me, please, what you think in the chat the relevance of those two pages are? Okay, I'll come to it later on, but do you still use whole.net and do you use the BBS? If so, which one and why? In the chat, and we'll come to it towards the end of the show. Thank you very much. Ian, talk me through the pain in the arse, a last-minute goal or the injury time goal.
Well, there's a couple of guys that sit behind me, and we talk, and if they're watching, hi guys, and we were talking, and we were saying, I think after the Benteke effort, we were saying, if we do not put one of these chances away, they're going to score at the last kick of the game. I said that to them. God, I wish I was wrong. I'm never, I normally if I say one thing, it's completely different to the other. But this time round, I could not have been a sicker when I just saw, was it Ward slipped? For a start, PVA didn't close up. Against 10 men, we weren't pressing. We weren't at them. PVA just sat back, let the cross go over. Ward slipped, I think, and then Jota, was it Jota that scored? Yeah. And as soon as it went in, that was it. I had a water bottle in my hand, and I just went, I scared the life out of the boy, because he's never seen me lose it. And I just went smash on the ground. And because what you guys probably didn't see was that, there's a TV camera in the corner there where the cheerleaders come out by the tunnel.
Yeah.
For most of the first half, another wastrel, Mr. Man of Glass, Connor Wickham, was standing there. And I tell you what, if he'd have still been there, that ball would have gone straight over to him, because it was just, I mean, we got away with it against Villa again, but we are just, scoring is such a problem for us. Scoring is such a problem. So, when you're having trouble scoring, one goal is never enough. 2 goals is probably never enough for us, as a lead. But at least we could have held it out. And then for that to be pretty much the last kick of the game, soul destroying. But being a hypocrite,
I've got a question for you, mate. Sorry.
Just quickly, before you ask me that question, Nick, I said to Kev, I said, I'll tell you now, the longer this goes on that we don't get this second goal, they will score. I'm telling you now, they will score. And I said that from, I don't know, the 80th minute. I said it again about the 88th, and I said it again in the 90th. I said, they will. I'm telling you now, if we don't score a second goal, they will score. And what happens?
Yeah.
Felt sorry for the woman sitting next to Kev's there, a couple away from Kev. She was at Fulham yesterday, a guest there with some friends of hers, and they conceded a goal in the 95th minute as well. So, but yeah, it's her fault.
I don't know if you guys are aware, okay, and it became apparent in the car to me on the way home. Schneidlin versus Everton, Trezeguet against Villa, Sayers versus Wolves. 3 home games, 3 times down to 10 men. Why can we not kill off a game with 10 men, boys? Are you aware of that fact?
Doesn't matter, does it? How many men you got? It's the attitude and the aptitude. 10 men you go from a I mean, let me just go back to quickly rewind about Ian said earlier, they put 5 across the midfield. At times, they didn't put anybody across the midfield. What they did, they took their 2 central midfield players out and they dumped them out left and out right and doubled up on our fullbacks. They literally
at the back.
Centre of the midfield, right? But what happened, this is the thing, and again, we noticed, right, is our players on 70 minutes absolutely blowing out their arses. But every time Wolves needed players in the middle, they were there en masse, back in the middle, getting the ball back, recycling the ball. That was the massive difference. Sorry, what was the original point?
The point was going to be Facebook comments, please.
Okay, so I will go back to Mark Bushell said we won't give Benteke away. I'd give him away. If I was a multi-millionaire, I'd give you £5 million, give the club and just get him out. Just get him gone.
Can you take him to Cape Verde with you?
Spoonbill McHumpty, if he wants to carry all my stuff, yeah. There we say it's the problem with Roy and his inability to manage the dressing room and poor game management. Time for a change, maybe. Well, I'm not too sure about, you can say change him, and I'm not a big advocate of him at all. And if we had a replacement lined up now, I'd say take it. But we don't, and we'll just throw the whole thing, everything into jeopardy, and it'll just be crap up through Christmas, and and then we're back to the days of old where we're struggling just after Christmas. So, Paul Rundle said, "I agree, Joe. Let's find out what this was about." And so, how will we find that? Cannot just put one of Can we not just put one of the younger gems on? Someone needs to be dropped, which I think Roy needs. To have the balls to do it. I should never have been taken off. So, and then again, Linda Drew, why take IU off for Benteke? So Kev Lyons says, Jill loves Benteke. Lee Lockwood said, Jill, do you think they're leaving him on the bench, Max Meyer, to deliberately want him to move so they can claw back some money into the club? I would hate to think that the club would be as cynical as that. But I think myself, that if I am right, or if I've imagined it, that if we play Camarasa more than 15 times, we have to buy him. And if that is the truth, someone needs to find out about that. But if that is the truth, then that's as cynical as you can get, because we won't be playing our best team if Camarasa. I think Camarasa's better than a couple of left-sided players in our side. So
how do we know that? I'm sorry.
I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm basing it on stuff that go on YouTube and watch him on YouTube. But also, I saw him rip our midfield coming in from the right hand side on his left foot and hitting the post against us and running us ragged last year when he played for Cardiff. Now the thing is, if we had half of that attitude and aptitude from him, that's 1,000 times better than what we're getting off of Schlupp. Schlupp, you player watch him. I'd sit to kid, just watch him. And in the end, you just go, hang on a minute, he really is crap. He masquerades as a footballer. I'm absolutely... Anyway, so Andrew Adams says, Roy will never take this any further. He was employed by a board, happy just to survive, and he's doing exactly what he was brought in for. And again, to keep us in the Premier League is exactly what he's done. He's done it year after year, and he's been financially rewarded for it. But this was my point, right? Is that we have got a team. Well, the breakup is coming soon of the team, and it'll happen for various reasons. Money, as in we've already got one of the best right backs we've had. I'm not going to say ever, because he only had 50 odd games for us, but we got 50 odd million quid for him, right? We're about to lose Wilf. Any time we're about to lose Wilf, possibly one of the best players ever put a Palace shirt on in our 106, since 1905. A really, on his day, an unbelievable player. And he showed someone that today for the first time this season, in my opinion. I think that by the end of this season, we're going to lose 2 or 3 of our players, 2 or 3 of our good players that will want to leave. I think we're going to lose 2 or 3 of our good players that will be over age and too slow, too old and too slow. And if you do that, if you take those players out, anything up to 6 to 8 players from that squad, lose Aaron, there's 7 players that come in at this squad, first team players. I mean, we've just given Benteke an extension on the basis of what? That we sell him for 10 million, give him another 6.5 million quid in wages and sell him for 10 million and make 3.5 million. In the grand scheme of things, of £150 million a year in the Premier League, piss off. Stop being petty. Stop being petty-minded over £3.5 million. I know it's easy for me to be blasé about £3.5 million, but for Christ's sake, if you're going to pay someone £130,000 a week, pay someone who will run his arse off. Like A, who is quick, and B, who has half decent touch. We're talking about some of our decent players that are on 60s, 70s, and 80s. Like Macca. Can't imagine Macca being on more than 80 grand a week. And if half our players showed the attitude and everything and the heart that geezer gives to our shirt, right, and our club and our fans and the appreciation he gets for it, then I'll tell you, Ben Secchi, if he was half that geezer, if he was half MacArthur, right, he'd do all right. But he isn't. And if he is shot, which I think mentally, physically, and every other way he's shot, you've got to get shot. I don't understand it. You know, Parish said, you know, you've got to be brutal. The Premier League is brutal. And if you're not brutal, you get beat, you get relegated. You know, it's time we woke up and stopped. You know, we're not this family club that we were 7 years ago. We don't have the chairman coming out talking to the fans at all. You know, you have to schmooze him, and the only way you get to talk to anybody at our club now, you know, the club now shits on 400 or 500 fans, move them out without a care or leave as to any kind of loyalty to put supporters into an area that
we're coming to that now. We're going to do that absolutely next.
That's my point on it, right? That it looks like it's failed because you can't hear them. So. You know, the club is he's stagnated. He's stagnated, and there's no loyalty. And for me, we've got players here they've got a shit attitude and just playing for the money. Right. It ain't good enough anymore.
Diego Jota's goal for Wolves, 94 minutes, 53 seconds, is the latest Crystal Palace have conceded at Selhurst Park in the Premier League since March 16. Ready for the irony, boys? When Christian Benteke netted for Liverpool on 95 minutes and 10 seconds. Did you know that one? Okay. I've got a load of other stats, but I want to move on to two other subjects. So what's next for Palace? Crystal Palace face Norwich City at Selhurst Park in their next Premier League fixture on next Saturday, 28th of September, at 3 o'clock kickoff. Right. So we're going to hold fire on that, if you don't mind. But I also want to remind everybody about the walk and talk. The walk and talk thing from Selhurst Park to Arsenal. Jel and I will be there. Ian is certainly toying with the idea. Walk and talk Crystal Palace to the Emirates Stadium on Sunday, the 27th of October. Okay, if you want any more details, pop onto @HC15 on tour on Twitter. All the details are on there on his page. But more importantly, Paul, happy birthday for yesterday, mate. See, we hadn't forgotten you. Okay, so just jump on his page and have a look at it. Right, Joe, you've just touched on the atmosphere today. I agree with you, okay, and I know you're aware that I was actually taking some little audio clips from where we were on the halfway line, pointed towards the Homesdale. The whole stadium was flat, I grant you. Sorry? The whole stadium was pretty flat, obviously in the first half, okay. It was the very first interaction between the Homesdale and the Arthur. Today, they tried to do something that they didn't do before and try to interact with the Arthur. It didn't work because of the distance between them. So the Arthur responded, but the Arthur responded too late, and the Homesdale in the middle had already started singing back to them. So it didn't work. I made a point very early in this potential block E move of the HF that from the old days of the Homesdale, before it had a roof, when we were standing up there in the 70s and 80s, the sound, wherever you were in the ground, you couldn't hear the Homesdale fans. The volume used to go straight up, okay, and out the stadium, and that's exactly what it did. The beauty about having the HF and the singing section down in the bottom corner is they were projecting their voices through the roof of the Arthur Waite stand. Today, because of where I was sitting in the ground, I had a great opportunity to hear what it sounded like. It looks visually very good, and I think it's fantastic. When everybody gets behind it, it works quite well. But I would say 90% of the time, in my opinion, boys and girls, I'd like your views as well, please. It's going straight up, straight into that concrete roof above, concrete tier above them, and straight out the stadium. Is that exercise, or is that experiment of moving to a central singing section working? Because on the evidence that I saw today, I don't believe it is. Ian, you first, please.
I think it's way too early to tell. It sounded all right where I was, and yeah, they were singing to the Arthur, and then the Arthur realised they were singing to them, and then it did start going. But obviously, on the halfway line, you're going to get a different picture from that. Yeah, I just think it's just way too early. It's only 4 games. But the thing is, also, as fans, we get our energy from what we see on the pitch. And at the minute, we're just watching dross on the pitch.
Not Andros.
Well, sadly, I would say sadly, but after a couple of appearances, probably not. But nevertheless,
I'm here all night, guys.
Yeah,
I'll do the games.
Unfortunately. So it's a chicken and egg scenario. Look, change is always hard for people. No one, or very, very few people, are comfortable with change. So it's easy to point fingers, but really, it sounded all right, and it has sounded all right. It's certainly got a lot noisier where we're sitting now as a result. And more and more people are joining in. They've even got some decks. They're playing their own music in the lower Homesdale when we walked in earlier. So it wasn't coming through the PA system. That's probably taking it a little too far. But nevertheless, listen, it's going to take time. Judge it on a year, not 4 games.
Okay.
Not
Jel,
4 games
your
of
view.
dross.
Okay, Jel, pick up on the Andros thing in a minute, but also your views on the sound quality, please.
Yeah, well, I mean, we could see from where we were that they were all clapping, and that the central singing section was clapping, the majority of it, but the sound is not there. It sounded like when they shouted that where the Homesdale, and I think just a few people in the Arthur realised by them the pointing that they're singing that song, because you couldn't hear it. You literally couldn't hear it. So, I mean, the atmosphere was flat anyway. And when you've just got a few hundred people singing, it's not, that's only ever going to work after goals or if the stadium is rocking for a reason. So, it is what it is. I'd say the football's been flat. We win one, lose one. But I mean, we've got 8 points. We are more. I'm going to try and play I'm going to try and play the devil's advocate here and say that we've had some crap starts to the season, where we've been praying for starts like this for 8 points. So, we sit middle of the table, not down the bottom. And this is the thing, the football at times was decent in the second half today. So if we can sort out the football side of things, we can sort out a few more wins where the squad starts to get back to themselves and they become mates again, because they don't look like they're pals. A lot of them don't look like they're pals. Maybe the team spirit rises, but for me, I think that's only going to happen when 1 or 2 players leave and when a new manager comes in with new staff. It's just the new broom mentality. So
okay, and the Andros, Paul's asked about Andros. Very quickly ask about Andros.
Well, yeah, I mean, so what I'll do, instead of, I would just say what Paul says. Can I reiterate one question, please, guys? What has happened to Starman? He was mint at the end of last season. Is he dropping part of the melee behind the scenes? And that would be, the guy scored one of the best goals we've ever scored, one of the best strikes we've ever scored. He's involved in one of the best team goals that we've ever scored at one of the biggest stadiums in the world, and then all of a sudden, he's not even a bit part player. That, to me, suggests, again, we just keep going back to it, that you can look from the outside, having been in and around football for such a long time and see that it looks like there's something going on. It's the only reason, that to attack on the left and the right is what we've been doing for the last few years. To just give the ball to Wilf now, who's been off his game at the beginning of the season, has made us pretty toothless. So, imagine that he'd have come on and really gone for it on the left-hand side, and Wilf was undoubtedly up for it today. We would have had attacking options left and right. But what that would have
I agree with that as well.
That would have stopped Doherty and Adama attacking PVA. PVA is pretty useless at stopping crosses coming in at the best of times one-on-one. But to literally twos up on him the whole game, it just left us exposed. And for me, exposed against 10 men is a little bit schoolboy. So
Simon Cribben saying
it's unforgivable.
I know. Ados Townsend was shit at Spurs. Somebody has also mentioned, and I come to think of it, I don't remember hearing it very much today. Was there a drum there today?
Yeah.
I didn't hear. I don't recollect it being that.
Well, maybe because you're right. You weren't right next to it, and you had problems coming out of your ears. You probably
quite possibly.
The noise of you munching on those pies.
Well, Mike Curran said we sit in the Sainsbury's End body away fans and can't hear the Arthur at all. Today was flat everywhere.
Yeah, it was.
It's fair comment.
Everyone was wet getting to the ground.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're in the centre of the grounds, 20 seats up, and you can hear, even the Wolves fans only sporadically. They're generally quite vociferous, and away fans always sing. But even they were flat. I think the first half just flattened everything, and then of course we came out second half and decided that we were going to try and win the game, and so it was only in that it all picked up.
Last couple then, victory would have ensured Palace's equal their highest Premier League tally of 10 points after six matches, as you just alluded to. The Eagles are unbeaten in the last 4 home games, keeping 3 clean sheets, positive. Only 1 goal has been scored at Selhurst Park so far this season, and Luka Milivojevic has been booked for a league high 4 times, and obviously he's one off a suspension. Now, going back to what I was asking you in the chat earlier on with reference to the atmosphere, it seems that a lot of you are actually saying about that it's what's on the pitch is producing the atmosphere, and you don't think there is any relevance. Chris Whiteland just said he misses having the HF down in the bottom corner. Mixed views, which is what I was actually trying to get to. And the other point I asked earlier on was reference to, where was I going? I can't remember what I was talking to. Oh, BBS and Homesdale Online. Now, I've had some interactions with one of those pages, and I'm not going to single them out. Okay, so I think it'll be unfair, especially with 88 people watching. And I actually think that both pages have a problem and has probably gone far too political over the years. And the political stuff on there is way above my head. I'm not interested in it at all. God knows what they're saying about Brexit on there. But I've had interactions with one of the groups, okay, or more importantly, ask some questions, because all the other splinter groups, Palace splinter groups, are allowed to post their content on the pages, okay? We are not. Why would that be? Is that fair? Is that right in a democratic society? Or should I encourage you lot to bin both frigging pages? Because quite frankly, one of them in particular, with 3 letters, okay, as they both have, okay, have really pissed me off, okay? I'm not going to go into a rant, okay? I refuse to go into a rant, because certainly that Midlands Eagle can kiss my sorry arse. Any thoughts on those 2 boys? Jel?
I don't really care. Yeah, look, I have an idea. This make this very quickly, right? I have an idea. When we were on Homesdale Radio, he sent an email in to say that my language was a little bit choice, and that he wanted to listen to the show while he was bathing his daughter or doing whatever. And I just and he sent it by an email, and he was really quite upset. So next week, I sort of thought, I don't know what I'll do. I'll take the piss. And I said, you know, I'm really sorry about the language, but why are you bathing your 26-year-old daughter, right? And that was it.
I was going to say something like that. Yeah.
Completely. Everyone
I do the
laughed.
gags.
Anyway, so and that was it. And then all of a sudden, all my posts started getting taken down, and I just went, you know what? I can't do the politics. Can't be asked anymore. We do this for a laugh. We do it for free. You know, I can't be bothered with it anymore. And that was it. So I don't really go. You know, and I said to you, Nick, you know, when you first started doing this, and you said, "There's people having a go at me." I said, "Look, when you do stuff like this, you stick your head above the parapet. You have an opinion, and people shoot you down, right? Yeah. Which is absolutely their prerogative, right? But not to shoot you down spitefully, all right? But you know, BBS, it's all right. I post on there I used to post on there every now and then, but Homesdale Online, I don't go on there at all. Not anymore. I've been on there for a long time. I'm not really interested in it. It got, you know, a lot of bullying on there. But listen, everyone's to themselves. People go on it and they love it, and they still go on there. So let them do what they want. But the fact is that we've got enough support of our own without needing to just go on there. You know, we've got enough social media and enough people that can sort it out. So with the support that we get, 80 odd people here watching it now, you know, it's what we do, and we can get around that. But yeah, I won't let it bother you, Nick. I just literally, we just do what we do and let them get on with it. And, you know, every now and then you want to post on there, let Midlands Eagle and Gordon do what they want to do and take it down. You know, if they're that petty-minded that they can leave Back of the Nest on there and BBS on there and whoever else on there, then let them do it. I don't really give a crap about them. So, like I said, I feel a little bit peeved that I've even had to mention them on a show because they give us nothing. But you know, but listen, it is what it is. It's the petty side of social media, and if the right wing side of Homesdale Online carries on the way that it is, it will be gone soon anyway. It's so right wing, it's ridiculous. And anyone left wing, they get rid of. So
thank you, mate. Daniel Garlick, I've just seen your comments you've posted, mate, and absolutely appreciate what you've just said, and thank you very much for your kind comments. Ian, are they relevant anymore, either one of them?
Listen, it's a broad church, isn't it? You know, a palace, as my tattoo says, it's not a brand, it's a religion. There's space for everyone. I'm a member of both. I go on the whole far more than I do on BBS. BBS, some of the people on there scare me. Some of them are really weird. Maybe they are bathing their 26-year-old daughters. But how I only ever go on because you've got a lot of intelligent people on there, a lot of intelligent posters. I know exactly what Jel's referring to regarding to the political side of it, but you know, as he says, each their own. I never get really involved in all that sort of stuff. But I'm not sure. What I would say is that there's not a lot of football talked about on the boards anymore. You know, it's just, you know, maybe it is getting a bit more.
Which is basically, maybe we've done it to death, and as Jill said, we've given them too much airtime anyway.
Yeah,
I think they're but I'm going to move on because I think they're a frigging waste of space. Ladies and gentlemen, I can see each and every comment going through on the chat, and when the show finishes in a couple of minutes' time, I will sit there and look at them all. So thank you to all your comments on there. We've actually reached a more of a broader range of subjects this evening, not just the game itself. So thank you for your comments and thank you for your thoughts. Boys, I think unless there's anything else from either of you, I think that would be probably a good place to wrap it up. Do you?
Oh, I'll out a bit later, Dad.
Yes.
No.
I'm just replying to Vince. I'm just replying to Vince.
Gel's go on.
No, I'm just replying to Vince Flynn because he said that I still like the Bellyman's missus thread is gold.
Oh, that was gold. That was gold.
It's the funniest thing on there. But if you know about it, you know about it, and if you don't, you don't. But yeah.
Right, okay. So I will come back and I will look at all those. We will be back again next Sunday because it's a Saturday kickoff. We will do a show at 8 o'clock. Thank you for your comments. Ian, thank you for jumping in again, mate. I'm really grateful. You're becoming a bit of a regular on it. Are you happy with that? because we're happy to have you.
Well, if everyone else is happy with it, I'm happy with it. I can talk to the cows come home. So, yeah, don't
Well,
worry
I'm
about
telling
that.
you.
What did you say?
Are we happy with Ian? Yes, no,
Yeah,
don't,
exactly.
maybe.
Can we run the poll, Lucy?
Have you got batteries for your clock yet?
Can we run a poll? Are we happy with Ian? Yes, no, or hang the bastard? You tell me. Okay, Jel, thank you so much for joining me as always, mate. Great to have you back. Great to have your microphone working. It's funny. It's funny when you plug that little lead in, isn't it? All this electric.
It's not. This is a brand new microphone, by the way. It's unfortunately it's the one that we gave Lucy that she never got a chance to use. So I'm using the brand new. What we did, we bought the red, white, and blue ones for the colours of the kits and everything. So I've now got this nice brand spanking new white.
Ian, last point.
Just one thing. Did we not give a T-shirt away today?
Yeah, we did see young Donna. Great to meet you today, Donna. We didn't give her a one. No.
Sorry.
We didn't give away one. We didn't give away.
Oh,
I actually
cut.
I actually gave her two. Ladies and gentlemen, on that bombshell, I'm going to give it a miss. Okay, I'm going to move on. Thank you so much for watching us. I'm glad you're enjoying the laughs as much as we're going to enjoy giving them to you. On behalf of Ian, Jel, Lucy, and the whole team, and myself, Nick Philpott, have a safe week. God bless you all. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.